All right, let's just get into it, shall we? 4 color, 5 color, however many colors. Bring to Niv. So bring in the deck title refers to bring to light here, so you can search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcerer card with converted mana cost equal to or less than the number of colors spent to cast this spell. And then you cast it. And then we've got 3 copies of Niv-Mizzet Reborn here, which says when it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library for each color pair. Choose a card that's exactly those colors from among it and put the chosen cards into your hand. So we play Niv-Mizzet Reborn here with a bunch of double-colored cards that he can draw. Bring to light not only allows some utility, but this is basically extra copies of Niv-Mizzet Reborn that we can draw when a Niv-Mizzet Reborn enters play. So Niv-Mizzet cannot get 3 or more colored cards, but it can get Bring to Light. And Bring to Light also lets you get things like Time Wipe, Wicked Wolf, Deafening Clarion, Night of Autumn, removal spells, discard spells. So lots of good things that Bring to Light is capable of doing in this deck. Another kind of cute thing that Bring to Light allows you to do is because we're playing 3 copies of Teferi Time Raveler here, is you can plus Teferi, and then you can instant speed or end step Niv off of Bring to Light, which is really sweet. We've also got a Time Wipe here, sweep on our top end, which allows us to destroy the board, but also like pick our dragon back up, which is great. So let's go ahead and dive on into a league here with this one and see how it goes. Morning 0. Yep, yeah, you can flash a Niv inside of combat too. Off of Bring to Light. Last time we played this, it felt really soft. The Field of the Dead decks. We've got a bunch of Unmoored Egos on the sideboard today to hopefully improve that feeling. Yeah, this looks fine. Not amazing, but fine. I guess we have all of our colors. Not too terrible. We get to go like red, white with this, which unfortunately does not let us cast Night of Autumn, but that's fine. I'm going to lead on Fabled Passage. Or sorry, I wouldn't let us cast Assassin's Trophy. I'm going to fetch Mountain on 1 here, because I'd much rather Dreadbore before I Assassin's Trophy. Just because giving your opponent an extra land early tends to not be ideal. Lebanon Trailblazer implies a Feather deck most likely, or some type of heroic deck. You actually can't instant speed Bring to Light for Teferi. It does not find just 1/1 for each enchantment you control. It does not get it does not fetch Planeswalkers. Blooming Marsh is a great draw here because it means we can go Plains Island and then we have all 5 of our colors. It's 1/1 for each enchantment you control. So I'm going to go ahead and trophy this in response. They still get to draw a card because this is a cast trigger, but they do not get the 1/1 because Cartouche will not enter play. They'll go Fabled Passage, fetch our planes. I'm just going to Night of Autumn and destroy this Helm of the Gods here, I think. Just use my mana for the turn. Morning Vraska. Yeah, that one will be up second today. All that glitters, yep. Let's go find a friend. Pretty sure we just get Niv here. I could get something to kill the Saram, but Niv gives me a 6/6 and likely find something to kill the Saram. So I'm getting a Dreadbore, an Abrupt Decay, and a Thought Erasure. And then do I want an Oko or a Bring to Light is the question. I think I probably just want an Oko here, huh? Do I? I'm going to get Bring to Light as the insurance policy. My 6/6 that draws 4 cards. Because I can fetch a Time Wipe with the Bring to Light and like clear the board, pick my Niv back up. Kooky, thank you for the tier 3 resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Match 1 game, Red Admiral. Hey, K9, thanks for the tip. Put blue-black control into the queue. Sounds good. For a Niv-Mizzet build around in Historic. Yeah, sounds great. I just like loaded this up and then conceded. It's great. Welcome to Thunderdome. Noxious Grasp, Abrupt Decay, Verdict. This probably isn't a Languish matchup. I probably don't want... This, like, probably gets outsized fairly quickly. Same thing with Oathakaya, Deafening Clarion, Wicked Wolf. Like, the things that those kill have a very small window in which they kill those things. Need one more trim here. Did I release a video about the angle shooting stuff that's been going around on Twitter? No. I don't think Veto's good enough here. Let's submit like this, just bring in all our removal spells. Angle shooting is what players who don't understand the rules of Magic call it when they lose a game because they didn't understand the rules of Magic. It's what they call it when someone uses their knowledge of the rules or tournament procedures to get an advantage. And there will be some people who get upset that I described it in that way, but that's what it is. When people bring up the concept of morality and doing the right thing in the context of a competitive card game, it really irks me. Just like, it's not a life or death situation. Just play the game by the rules. Is basically always my suggestion. Don't cheat, play by the rules. The concept of angle shooting is that there's like this white knight kind of, I'm morally superior if I play the game within these extra context that I define. It's really just quite nonsensical. Alright, I don't think I want my Oko to die here, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and chump block. Thanks for 11 months, Regazu. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The judge agrees with you. It was fair play. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of people that don't even agree with your statement there. I think I'm just supposed to like play my second Teferi, bounce this, right? I think that's my line. It's like plus this, play second Teferi bouncer thing. Who try to win the game by forcing rules violation. Listen, I know the rest of the internet doesn't work this way, but we have some personal accountability here. Maybe it's not your opponent's fault if you make a rules violation and it gets you in trouble or loses you the game. Maybe you should be responsible for knowing the rules of the game for the tournament you entered. Did you know it's technically on the player to be familiar with the Magic tournament rules if they're playing in a competitive Magic tournament setting? Do you know how many players actually frequently read the MTR and are familiar with its updates? Very few. Yet many frequently get upset for not being familiar with those rules when they get got by someone who knows those rules. My favorite part about digital Magic is not having to deal with people who have opinions about things that they're not educated or informed on about that type of stuff. It's one of those things that really, really irked me when I was playing a ton of competitive Magic. There's just so many people that like want to get up on their pedestal, their high horse, and be like, I'm better than you because I tied my hand behind my back and did this thing. It's like, well, maybe if you just like read the rules and understood them like you're supposed to, you wouldn't get into these situations that you're upset with someone else for getting you. That's my take on angle shooting. You feel like you don't want to be angle shot, be familiar with the rules and don't let yourself be angle shot. You know how many times I got in like 4 digits worth of competitive tournament Magic? Zero. I made plenty of play mistakes and my opponents played better than me, but 0 times did my opponent angle shoot to beat me because I understood the rules of the game that I was playing. And I was responsible and read the MTR when I was playing lots of tournament Magic and understood the policies that I was agreeing to play by when I entered the flipping tournaments. Yeah, that was the big standout to me, Beetle. When Cat Light tweeted you should always chalice check people, and everybody was like, hell yeah, you should chalice check people, that's right. I was like, the fact that, like, that's viewed differently than, like, all the other things that were discussed is so wild to me. We just never beat Field of the Dead game 1. I'm gonna board in a bunch of Unmoored Egos and hope for the best here. I am in fact advocating for personal responsibility. I am in fact advocating for if you get got, you probably shouldn't have let yourself get got. Let me rephrase. If you get got and you haven't read the Magic tournament rules and you're not familiar with the documents you're supposed to be familiar with before you play tournament Magic, it's not the person who got you fault. It's your fault. You weren't prepared. You allowed yourself to be in a position to get got. And there are plenty of people who disagree with me on that, and they're welcome. They're entitled to their opinion. They are welcome to think that you should hold players' hands and cut people lots of slack. I am not of that opinion. I think people should be responsible for reading the documents they're supposed to read. I think I actually want Languish here because it like clears out. I probably actually don't want Verdict. I'm gonna leave the Time Wipe in. Yeah, that's why FNM exists. And again, like, other people who, like, half listen to what I'm saying are like, oh, so you want to, like, get people at FNM? No. What I'm talking about explicitly applies to competitive REL tournaments. Competitive REL tournaments, players are expected to be familiar with the Magic tournament rules if they're playing. And if you get got or get angle shot because you weren't familiar with the Magic tournament rules, sorry, I have no sympathy for you. That's on you. You should have done the legwork before you, like, traveled and spent a large entry fee in a competitive Magic tournament before being familiar with what you were supposed to know. A lot of the angle shooting situations are also covered by the IPG communication policies and have the fixes already prescribed. Yep. Turn 3 Ego on the play. Let's do it. Hey, thanks for the 9 months, Beard Hug. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Oh, little sloth. Oh, little sloth. Let's zoom in here so we don't have a really sad misclick. My number 1 feature request, Termoto, after the auto tapper would be, just for the love of God, remember the size of my library. The fact that you have to, like, drag your library larger every time you search it is so tedious. Well, that was the perfect draw. If I was stacking my deck there, that's what I would have stacked on top. I'm gonna bin an extra Oko here. Definitely just looking for lands at this point. We're really hoping they don't hit a Field of the Dead the next 6 cards so we can Unmoored Ego them next turn. Oh, right, this is tapped so they can't, Is this pre-ban standard? Yeah, basically. Alright, so what do you got left to kill me with? 3 Tireless Trackers, an Ugin, a Westvale Abbey. They boarded in Rest in Peace. Does Rest in Peace have text against me? Is there Lumbering Falls in here? That's probably is. That's a good catch. Where's Temples? H-I-J. No, there's no Lumbering Falls. Oh, it's in their hand. Okay, yeah, good call. Good call. Good call. Let's focus on the wrong thing. Okay, sweet. So they don't have that much. So Tireless Tracker. Keep Tireless Trackers off the table and we should be good to go. Yeah, I guess Rest in Peace turns off Ulvenwald. Yeah, that's about it though. Scissor! Has it been this long already? Seems like yesterday I stumbled into this realm on the internet. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Happy Tuesday. Alright, let's go. Oko's down to whatever, 2. Ooh, talk about the perfects. Running lands. The mana base of this deck has actually been quite good. Been very happy with it. Alright, so if we get Unmoored Ego going, we can actually win the game. Good to know. Do I want to cut these traverses because they're Rest in Peacing me? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to run it back. Those just being lay the land is good in this deck frequently. Yeah, I mean, like, don't be a dick is like... And acceptable advice for all situations, including when people mess up, make mistakes in Magic. Hey, Timor, thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. And Adronis Arcanian, thank you for cashing in for the 15th month. I appreciate you keeping me around, folks. And ordered all the cards from my LGS. Nice. It's got a lot of good tools in it. Just a typo. Just type in quickly. The notification that went out this morning was also incorrect. It said Pioneer Standard Mythgard, and today is very much Pioneer and Historic and no Mythgard. Yeah, just like having to deal with and read feedback from people like that Paper Skate is just like one of the worst. It's one of the single worst things about Paper Magic. This hand's actually quite good. We have Traverse for our island, and then we can Dreadbore, Thought Erasure, or Ego here. So again, just like kind of hoping they don't get a Field of the Dead in their first 3 turns before we can cast the Unmoored Ego. But if they do, I do have a copy of Assassin's Trophy where we can kill that. Look at that, just like we drew it up. We do need to draw a green source before we get to that. The fact they don't have a ramp spell on turn 2 is great for us. I don't have to worry about getting Veil summoned here, which feels great. That's so super unfortunate. I don't have a way to destroy a second Field of the Dead. There's not a leaderboard for shillings, no. Huh? No, I think I only have one trophy. I'm mostly on Decay. Yeah, I have one trophy and 2 Decays. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to keep this because I just need to kill them. Hopefully they draw... I guess if they draw a different land... maybe I should have taken the Growth Spiral here. Yeah, I think I should have taken the Growth Spiral. Because then if they drew a different land, they would play the different land and not the other field, and I could take them away. Yeah, sure. Like, don't be a dick. That's good quality life advice. I think I'm actually just playing Gilded Goose here. But if we draw a, just like any untapped land, we can just like Niv-Mizzet next turn. It's a very good draw. I mean, they could have also just banned Golos so you didn't get to play 8 copies of Field of the Dead. That was the big part of the problem. It was like you got to play 8 copies of this card in Standard. That's where most of the issues stem from. Alright, so I have to discard here. It's probably just Dreadbore, right? Do I need 2 egos? I probably don't need 2 egos, huh? Yeah, I don't need 2 egos. I think the plan here is just like race their fields. Maybe, hopefully. Make a food with this Gilded Goose. Did you Sphinx's Revelation? Alright, sure. That was a pretty unfortunate. I think that matchup's pretty bad for us. I think if we see Ego and they don't see Field, we could be okay. But with them getting Fields, just not gonna happen. And for people that are wondering, yeah, I get that I'm not 0% there, but we're close enough that it's a waste of my time to play that game for another 10 minutes. This probably wasn't supposed to be a keep. Even with this being a second land, this is a bit of a clunker. Yeah, I value my time here. When we're like sub 5%. Can move on with my time. Magic's fun. Very, very balanced, reasonable gameplay, lots of counterplay, etc. Get a rematch here. Tried to Unmoored Ego them again. The last time we played this, I think we went 3-2 and we died to 2 Field of the Dead decks. And last time we didn't have Unmoored Ego. So like, I think with this card we have a chance at the post-board games. Like, in that last match, even the match before this one, like, if they hadn't drawn Sphinx's Revelation, we're actually in an okay spot to just like race their zombies in the air with the Niv-Mizzet. But with Sphinx's Rev, that just like gave them incredible chances to draw outs and add another turn to the clock. Veto over Knight of Autumn. Yeah, Veto's probably fine. The old 61 card special. In. More Insanity. Looks like the green-black field variation. I'm going to take Confluence to round out my colors here. Well then. I'm going to bin that. I have Sylvan Caryatid here. I already have a 5th mana source, looking for an Unmoored Ego or a Niv-Mizzet here. I assume they're just going to once this turn and try and hit some lands here. I think I'm going to be holding off on deploying the Sylvan Caryatid though, because we have 2 sweepers here. It's possible I should have boarded this out because of how I'm looking to sweep the board in this matchup. The fixing feels pretty important though. Really, we're just playing tracker out? Huh. Okay. So Oko's gonna take a hit this turn, but that's fine. I'm gonna use my mana. That is a Land War Waste and a Crumbling Vestige. Vestige is a land that they're mostly playing just so they can have 7 differently named lands consistently for Field of the Dead. Maybe I just want more trophies in this deck. If Field of the Dead's going to be a matchup that's going around, so we can kill Field after we Ego once they put one into play. That's probably the case. Hey, thanks for the tier 2, Beansy. Thanks for the 4 months at that. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. So I'm going to get Veto Hour of Promise next turn. So that's nice. Once upon a time, there was a... Is Crumble... Yeah, I guess Crumble is legal, huh? The Devoid cards are legal in this format? That's actually that's a good suggestion. Crumble to dust. Yeah. I like that. I like that suggestion a lot, actually. All the Devoid cards are legal in this format. Yeah, Crumble's too slow and fair against Tron in Modern. But against Field of the Dead and Pioneer, it actually sounds quite good. You have another hour, I promise? Yep. Of course. Of course. They get a 7th land and a 2nd field, I assume. Yep. Fabled Passage seems good. Playing Caryatid there lets you elk it with Oko next turn. Yeah, I guess. Sweet. Them cracking this fetch land tier is actually very good for us because it means they won't be able to make zombies at instant speed, so we can Verdict next turn and then make a 3/3 and smack them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Do they have a land in their hand is the question. I guess they can crack this clue here and train for another land off the top too. Just like never beat this card. All right, they have another one, so they get like 7 looks at a land here. Yep, we're dead. So I get to Supreme Verdict, but they have a guaranteed 10th land they're drawing next turn to get to cast Ulvenwald. I like Crumble to Dust. Crumble to Dust sounds like an excellent suggestion. Thanks for the 21 months, Dig. I appreciate that. What? Welcome back. Yeah, chat. I elk it, but it exiles my first Oko, and it exiles one of my 3/3s, and then they make zombies, and then the zombies kill my Oko along with the beast, and I have no way to actually win the game. So it's not that I'm dead to the 10/10 indestructible, it's that I'm dead to the trigger that comes along with it, and then all of the zombies that get created alongside of it as well. So you are correct that I'm not dead to the Ulvenwald, but we need to think about the situation that we're in, and then there's no way out of that situation. Yeah, I don't know. We want to cut? I'll think about it later. Is Blood Sun worth it? No, Blood Sun's not good. Blood Sun they can take off the table. Blood Sun we also can't find with Bring to Light. So there's a reason why Blood Sun wasn't good enough in Standard. It's definitely not good enough here. So Ego is good. Ego just has the problem where if they get Field of the Dead into play before you Ego them, you still have an issue. And Crumble to Dust gives you a way to interact with that. That's not a card I'd considered. Yeah, Ego is also useful in other places, is correct. How's the blue-red emerge matchup versus feel? I have no idea. I'd imagine it's probably fine. In theory, it should be fine. Because you have evasive flying creatures, as well as a way to clear the board while you kill them in the air. And in my experience, the Field of the Dead decks are very bad against piles of flying creatures, which the Emerge deck is basically a blue-red flyers deck. This is probably a game that we're going to lose because we were on the draw. I assume we're just going to see like double one drop here and we're going to die. I don't actually know the rules on Wear Tear and Niv-Mizzet. Judge? Marshall. Ban another one of those. Yeah, it's possible Oko being time walk buys us a turn. Along with Teferi doing stuff. I mean, mediocre decks in general, like, feel like, so, what's the best way to put this? I think banning Field of the Dead in this format would be a really big mistake, and I think it would show that Wizards didn't learn anything from Standard. I think Field of the Dead in this format is no different than it was in Standard, where if it's not Field of the Dead keeping your bad deck unplayable, something else is. It's not Field's fault your deck is bad, it's that your deck's just not powerful or synergistic, or doing something worth doing. That's why your deck's not playable. Thanks for the 5 months, Trap of Logic. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Just like people who think this card's too strong for this format. Like, I just... The worst part, then in my opinion, the single worst part about all of the issues we've had in Standard recently is that it's made it very clear that people are incredibly unable to distinguish between when something's actually an issue and when it's not. Just like the answer to everything is just ban it. Just everything needs to be banned all the time. Teferi's probably not good enough here, huh? He just dies. Would you like to see a standard with Oko and Field unbanned? Yeah, I think Eldraine Standard 1.0 was the best of the Eldraine Standard formats. I mean, before they banned anything, Standard was at its best. I think the current Standard format seems like it's fine to set an incredibly low bar. Eldraine Standard 3.0 is fine. I think Eldraine Standard 1.0 was better, but I also think the current format that we have is fine. Fine would be the descriptor I will use. Sure, Once Upon a Time is a deeply offensive card that probably just shouldn't exist. We can just, like, shift delete that one from the format. Actually, I actually think Once and Veil would be fine cards to remove from the format, just because, like, they're deeply offensive. I do not expect them to unban anything in Standard ever. Why do you think Eldraine Standard 1.0 is better than 3.0? I think they're both fine. I preferred the Field of the Dead aggressive play patterns to that the first format had. I also think playing with strong cards is fun. And I think Eldraine Standard 1.0 had more strong cards in it. Restricted lists are stupid. Just full stop, no restricted lists. It's a nonsense solution. Historic is very reminiscent of Eldraine Standard 1.0. So, like, I don't really care what they do with Standard. Like, I have a second format to play on Magic Arena now, so they can, like, mess up Standard all they want or have it be bad all they want, so I can, like, go do something else now. Thanks for the 4 months, Silly Shadow. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The biggest issue with Eldraine Standard 2.0 was that it was the only format we could play on Magic Arena at that point. So, like, when it sucked, we just couldn't play Magic Arena. Five-color Niv is great by its stuff. It's definitely okay. Crumble to us sounds like the ace of the hole I was missing. Soldier Sui, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Morning, Troll. Of course, Wall of Roots isn't fixed. Why would that be the case? That's aggressive. So we're attacking Oko for 6, I'd assume. White, black, red, green, blue. I'm glad my tier 8 modern card seems like a reasonable suggestion. My one foil to Crumble Dust is getting back in the gym and ready to knock out some fields. Excellent. Only drew 2 cards. Incredibly unlucky. Still great. Only drew 2 cards. Still great. I think there's 1,000 different things you could say about Gilded Goose and Standard. I don't have anything to say about Gilded Goose and Standard that I haven't already said before. Castle's a lot better with this emblem out, huh? I mean, even being unlucky with Niv is still game winning, right? Like, draw. When you're like, this is medium cases, like we drew 2 good cards, like drew 2 spells, 6/6 flyer, drew 2 spells. Yep, sign me up. Yeah, the food token on Goose is super relevant. Super relevant. I think in a world where I had cared more about Modern after Eldraine released, Gilded Goose probably would have ended up being played as much or more than Birds of Paradise in a lot of the green creature decks in that format. Yeah, this deck is almost Historic playable. In fact, we had a donation this morning for 5-color Niv build around in Historic, so that'll definitely be happening. What's your opinion on emblems and how you can't interact with them? I think the idea that you can't interact with emblems is idiotic. And by that, I mean, if you think you can't interact with emblems, you should have interacted with the Planeswalker in the 12 turns it was on the board before it emblemed. Games need to end. You can't just play games of Magic forever. That's why things like Emblem and things like Field of the Dead are fine, because they actually end the game. Yeah, it depends on how it gets used, though, Bushu's. Like, if it's expensive and clunky, that's fine. Like, EDH playable cards that interact with emblems are probably fine. Sand might be a little bit loose, but it's got, like, an Accelerant that's got Tolsimir and Bring to Light, so I'm gonna give it a chance. Why are people all of a sudden upset about emblems? I don't know. Probably because whatever they're outraged about before emblems ran out. Second Gilded Goose. Yep. So we'll go Goose, tapped land, Goose, fast land, Tolsimir. Or we'll Abrupt Decay that. Genova Witness. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Soldier City, I feel like I might have missed you. And Silly Shadow, I think I might have missed those. If I did miss those, I apologize. Welcome. Knight of Autumn's actually a great draw. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Like, kills this and trades with Dauntless Bodyguard, sends the Bleeding Raveler. We drew really well with this hand. I think this hand was keepable. I think we had a lot of draws that made it pretty reasonable. But we've definitely, feel like we've hit the upper side of good variance here. Would love to hit an untapped land here so we can, Abrupt Decay this Kithian, plus play a Goose. Sick. When you're hot, chat. Morning, Pythrion. They have one card left. This game should be pretty over. We get to Tolsimir next turn, and then we get to, Bring to Light for a sweeper the following turn, or Bring to Light for Niv the following turn. Is our variance curse today paying off? Been watching for a while. I hope Field doesn't get banned in Pioneer. I need a good format to play. Cavalier of Flames, Fire Invention Field in. Nice. Did I just Verdict? They're on one card. I think I'm just supposed to Tolsimir, huh? Yeah, I'm just gonna Tolsimir. Like, lose my food producers, too. I just, like, never draw a 5th land. It's, like, almost a Wrath of God anyways. Yeah, if they, like, untap and played some spells, I'd be in trouble. If we broke on land, agree. Worthy Knight triggers Thalia's Lieutenant. That's pretty sick. I'll block like this. Oh, I forgot to make a food. That's actually a really big deal. It's gonna cost me 3 life down the line. The deck queue link will work on mobile if you hit open in browser. It just doesn't work if you are trying to view it in the embedded Twitch panel. Twitch doesn't like bit.lys. Well, I thought I removed the bit.lys everywhere. The subs Discord will have to behave better than I do here. Nah, your behavior here is fine. It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. I was watching your most recent approach video last night and couldn't agree with what you're saying about trade schools. I graduated high school in 3 years with a 3.8 GPA. My teachers all told me going to community college for a trade was a waste of my potential, but here I am with a degree, well-paying job at 21. More high school kids understand their options. Yep. And good on you, Boda. Making some good decisions. Are you on Android? I know the Android browser, the Android in-thing browser frequently doesn't work. Or at least once upon a time it didn't work. Maybe on newer Android or newer Twitch versions it does work. I thought it was like a security thing though. iOS, yeah, I've never used iOS. Another game where being on the draw is a pretty big detriment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure not loading Bitleys is a feature and not a bug. Interesting. That sounds good. It's a culture thing, troll. There's a very, very large you have to go to college to be successful push in the United States, and I'm sure other countries. Yeah, this game's winnable, but we're incredibly unlikely to win. We're not 0%, but we're unlikely. And they're gonna kill us quick enough that we'll play out the unlikely here. Maybe the anime yeah, and again, like, the reason why this game likely isn't winnable is because of Smuggler's Copter. Card's absurd. I think the concern is about automation killing trades, but that's unfounded. They're never going to automate a plumber. They're never going to automate a carpenter. They're never going to automate these jobs that require a human to go into a variety of different specific situations. They're not these situations that the trade people that you have to have skills to do are too varied in order for a computer to be able to realistically automate them. In order to automate a task, it has to be incredibly repetitive. Is Looter Scooter bannable in Pioneer? I think it is. I would be surprised if this card makes it to 2020. Is Oko as broken in Pioneer as it was in Standard? It's not. In large part, I don't even think it's as broken in Historic as it was in Standard. The quality of one-drops in these slightly larger formats is much higher, which makes a big difference. So, like, in these bigger formats, the aggro decks are able to put down more things to be able to pressure it off the table realistically. Like when we were playing Knights on stream the other day, we killed a turn 2 Oko by attacking on turn 3. Just like such a good example. It's not even that Oko's just fine in aggressive formats, it's Oko's fine when the aggressive decks have a way to attack it reasonably. Like, there's more than just aggro decks in this format, but like the aggro decks in this format aren't just dead to the food decks like they were just dead to food in standard. There's also things like Field of the Dead that go over the top of these decks a frequent amount of the time, which is relevant as well. I can't even get a job as a lawyer or astronaut on Twitch. What a tilt. And I mean, like, having a... I don't even think that's true, Panza. Like, before they messed up the format by banning a bunch of stuff, there were a ton of playable aggressive decks because Field hip-checked food and then aggro hip-check Field, right? Like... those, we had a rock, paper, scissors that was, like, moderately balanced. Which is, again, one of the reasons why I've actually really been enjoying Historic, because Historic currently feels a lot like pre-ban Standard, and pre-ban Standard was very reasonable. I'm gonna keep this. If the first one finds an untapped land, I can cast the second once, and like all the spells here are good. Such severe matchups feels like Modern, where the matchup is everything. Man, who's surprised that a comment that silly came from a gift sub? I know I'm not. Go away. If you think pre-ban Standard felt anything as extreme as Modern, you either didn't play much pre-ban Standard or you've not played much Modern. Because in either case, you're wrong. Look at that. Just like we drew it up. Still missing white for this veto, but like, get to cast the rest of it. More an Exterminator. Yep, you have a mountain. I think Blackmail is a great card. I think the design on it is excellent. I think it's a sweet card that encourages both players to make decisions. And cards that require both players to make decisions are good for Magic. They give you a sense of player agency on both sides in a meaningful way. Huh? I'm just gonna grab Sylvan Caryatid here and then Traverse for our planes. That's unfortunate. Maybe I should have Yeah, I think I messed this up. We're going to lose because I messed it up. I think I should have traversed for planes and then passed with Veto up. That's definitely what I should have done. And then I could have vetoed if they played something worth vetoing, and I could have onced if they didn't, because once is an instant. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, this card resolving probably means we're dead. Sure. Yeah, they're a little bit of a bigger red deck. Seems pretty good against us. We could still hit a Bring to Light or a Niv-Mizzet to be in this game. But outside of drawing one of those, we're probably going to be pretty dead here. I guess that's a good draw, too. It's a pretty good one. Make a 3/3, smack your Chandra. Need to kill Acolyte of Flames, otherwise she'll flashback Dreadbore and kill Oko. What do you think is the best variation of Girl and Pioneer? I don't know, something with 4 Glory Bangers. Get to the chopper, to the chopper. Doesn't die to Frey. I mean, this very clearly dies to Frey. Alright, do you have ways to kill this and this? Chain Whirler, okay. Alright, so open and draw an Abrupt Decay here. A removal spell for this. How about a land? Alright, so I have to do this, and then crash one of these into the Goblin Chain Whirler, so that Chandra doesn't ultimate on me. Which feels bad, man. Mono White Disappointment. Thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Now I don't have the mana to cast a Niv-Mizzet if I draw one, unfortunately. Yeah, this whole game snowballed. This game was a really good example of like one bad decision snowballing on us. Like if we hadn't tapped out for the Once Upon a Time and been able to veto this Torch of Defiance, the whole game just plays out differently because they have fewer resources. This card, like, drew them 4 cards now and, like, gave them other resources, or, like, gave us another thing that we had to devote resources trying to interact with. Just like my bad decision snowballed. Alright, so we went 2 and 3 in matches, but we lost 2 that I would consider probably very bad matchups against Field of the Dead, and then I made a mistake to lose that game 3 in that last one, which is not too terrible. I do think I want an extra trophy in my 75, probably over this extra decay. I think I definitely want a crumble to dust here. I think this sounds quite excellent. I don't know that I want Supreme Verdict. I feel like Time Wipe, Languish, Clarion is probably plenty, and that's probably the cut. Yeah, I think I'd probably do this. I think this deck's very reasonable. I think if you can find a way to, like, drag the Field of the Dead matchup close to 50% post-board, you're probably in an okay spot. But yeah, in general, this is just, like, the style of deck Field of the Dead preys on. So, like, I don't think you can ever get it to be a favorable matchup, but you could probably drag it closer to even. And, like, the games where we cast Ego against Field of the Dead, where they don't have Field in play, I think we're in a reasonable spot. And the games where we get to crumble the field that's already in play, I think we're in a reasonable spot. And with 3 Bring to Light, like, boarding in 1 crumble is like having 4 of them, so that seems very reasonable. So I think this is what I would do after playing those games that we played there. Blood Sun's been very impressive for me. Crumble often comes down after they 1 or 2 fields. I think Blood Sun is bad. I think it's bad to the point of being unplayable. I think there's a reason why Blood Sun wasn't good enough against Field of the Dead Standard, and in Pioneer, they have even more answers to Blood Sun. The Field of the Dead decks are playing Teferi or Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy or other ways to take it off the table. And they take it off the table, they make a bunch of idiots, then they kill you. Blood Sun is even worse in this deck than in other decks because Bring to Light notably does not find enchantments while it finds Crumble to Dust. So I think between these two, between this, finding that, and this not being a card that they can take off the table, I think Crumble to Dust is much better. This deck also has other ways to take fields off the table. Like we have trophies on top of the crumbles, so. Thoughts on copies of Fab Wishes. I don't think we have room to play more cards that Niv-Mizzet doesn't hit. I think all of our cards that Niv-Mizzet doesn't find need to be these cards that fix our mana. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break before we dive on into the second deck today. When we get back, we're going to play some red-black mid-range, and hopefully this one isn't a dumpster fire because it's got a lot of sweet cards in it. So, back in a few, folks. Thanks for hanging out today.